Hey guys, real quick before we start the video, I want to direct you to the community tab on my channel. I am currently running an event for you, the viewers, to rate every single Monster Hunter monster from 1 to 5 stars. This project is going to be a bit of a run back from the 20th anniversary popularity poll and is meant to allow everyone to voice their opinion on every monster, so we can get a big picture look at how the whole community feels about the entire Monster Hunter bestiary. There will be a new poll on the community tab every single day at noon Eastern Standard Time, and all polls will remain live on the channel, so you can answer any of them at any time. You will not miss out if you miss the poll for the day. I will be updating numbers all the way from now until the end of October when the last polls have been run, and in October or November, we're going to have a massive video event where your comments will be read, all the numbers will be crunched, and the monsters will be reordered based on how you all voted. Every vote on every poll matters, and anyone has a chance to have their comment read in the video itself. And if you want to help me get more data and reach the broader Monster Hunter community, I'd appreciate a like on this video and, maybe hit the subscribe button to help this channel grow. It'll put me and this project in front of more eyes. Okay, no more YouTuber CTA shilling. Here's the video you actually clicked on. Thank you.
Well, hello and good morning once again. I turned the air conditioner off preemptively this time, so hopefully this one is way less annoying than yesterday's video. So I put up a poll earlier today asking, do you want me to do one big chunky Wilds weapon video or a whole bunch of individual ones? Chunky, big singular video won out, but I made just kind of an executive decision that if the Monster Hunter team is gonna give me basically free reign to do 14 videos, 15 because we're getting a Gamescom trailer. The best business decision is just gonna be a whole bunch of individual videos, I'm gonna be honest, and you know me, I am more than capable of talking your ear off for over 8 minutes over a 47-second trailer. You gotta get those mid-roll ads up, baby. But yeah, no, I can totally legitimately talk this long. So we're gonna do this bit by bit. I think this is just the best business decision to make. So let's have some fun with it. So I haven't watched this yet. This is the Monster Hunter Wilds heavy bowgun weapon overview. So we're gonna watch it clean through for the first time. Haven't seen this yet. We're gonna see what we're dealing with, and then we're gonna break it down and look at what we got going on. Long-range weapon fires ammo from a distance, then energy munition, a fire special in. Top of that, the auto guard function, allow to guard incoming attacks manually. That's your big guard finish, and that's your power guard. Okay, so let's look at what we're dealing with here, because that looks pretty cool. So it looks like they're sticking with Wyvern Heart. Haven't seen Wyvern Snipe, but I wouldn't be shocked if they're gonna keep both of those around. I mean, like, why not, right? So you recharge those off on connected hits. Big explosions are going to be your punish mode. You're going to be your big punish attacks off of focus mode. So let's go less volume and then nice and slow. So worth mentioning off the bat, I think also, is confirmation we have the heavy metal armor back, which was a set that I liked aesthetically, a little bit more chungussy than I normally run, but I always thought it was like a solid design, cool looking little slat eyepiece, and the gas mask design, and the huge chunky look to it. And up on the top shoulder looks to be the Hunters Guild logo up on that like shield plate up on the shoulder, which was a design thing that I think they used a lot in World. This is also probably going to be our standard iron heavy bowgun. Of all the starting weapons, I think this is probably the most plain. A lot of the other ones have had a pretty unique looking style. Maybe it's got like something on the outer side at a different angle. Certainly not bad, but this is very rudimentary iron heavy bowgun for sure. has like a little bit of extra stuff on the side there. Don't know if that's an attachment or something. Yeah, no, you got another guild logo up on the chest plate right there, which I think was something they used a lot in World, was like slapping the guild logo on a lot of the weapons and armor. So I'm wondering if that is a design motif they're going to stick around with Wilds. Wouldn't shock me, because I know the research commission was like name dropped, so it might be like something kind of related. Just a little bit of interesting info that I'm taking in at the moment. Yeah, so they're going right in with the fact that Wyvern Fire's back. Yep, and then we got both of the heavy iron sets. Yeah, no, the gun looks good. Very rudimentary. I think they got a little bit artsy with the starting weapons for some of the other Blade Master categories. But I think the Bowguns have always typically kind of had a very standard art design for their Iron and Bone versions, whereas sometimes the other weapons don't. I was kind of hoping that, or it might be like the other ones have, you know, like there's a Kimura tree for stuff in Rise and whatnot. Might be like we're seeing whatever the like the village tree we're getting for like the Great Sword and the gun lance and everything that we were seeing, and this is just straight up iron. Might be the case. Alright, fires ammo from a distance, very rudimentary shots. Alright, so that is firing fast for an HBG, for sure. So, are we getting rapid ammo on a heavy bowgun? Let's roll that back a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's maybe a little slower than some light bowgun ammos, but I think with some other light bowgun ammo types, that's about as fast as, yeah, I think that's just like pretty standard rapid fire speed, maybe like a smidge slower, depending on your ammo type with light bowgun, but it's looking like heavy is going to be getting rapid shots. It certainly looks like it, like that's the fire rate for it, and that's like the kick for it. Yeah, that has to be rapid fire. So that's particularly interesting, because that was light bowgun's like big thing. So what that could mean is a lot of things. Is status and element might become much more viable for heavy. That might be something that they're trying to do, is they might be trying to change up heavy bowgun a little bit, because I think, I'm not an expert, right? I think, if I remember correctly, heavy bowgun in a meta level, at least very recently, was super pigeonholed into a spread shot type. So you tenderize the body part, you have like a really high crit damage set, you get right up in the monster's face, and you unload with spread. And that was a lot of what I saw people running with heavy, minus stuff like clust occasionally. Again, this is not my area of expertise, so feel free to correct me. Absolutely free to correct me, but that is what I saw a lot of. So they might be trying to expand the utility of heavy bowgun in making status a little bit more viable, making element a little bit more viable if rapid fire is going to be a thing on this. So then the question is, what does this mean for light bowgun? Because that was light bowgun's thing. It was kind of a support weapon. So you have your element shots for a really precise positioning on monsters with good elemental hit zones, or proccing off statuses very, very quickly. I have a buddy who plays the bowguns a lot, and that was usually his job, was status application, right place, right time. So what does this mean for light bowgun is an interesting question. Okay, so this little device on the side is interesting. Okay, so this little device on the side seems to be where you insert the stuff for Wyvern Fire, or what they're calling it ignition mode to fire special ammo. So ignition mode is probably going to be Wyvern Heart, Wyvern Snipe, maybe another one if they add it. It's going to be indicated by this blue meter. Okay. So that's how they're going to be changing around the functionality. Looks cool. It's a neat little contraption on the side of the bowgun, and I'm assuming it's going to be, maybe it's something that they're adding to kind of like flesh out. You know what? You know what I'm thinking? This might maybe be an attachment. So like the shield is an attachment, the power barrel is an attachment. This may be built into bowgun customization, where you can choose if you want heart, or you want snipe, or you want something else on it. that might be possible. That because this is like a whole device. Because with the other World, you cracked open the gun and then you belt fed it for Wyvern Heart, or you just like prod in the big shot for snipe. But this is a noticeably different contraption for this. So I'm wondering if they're changing this into an attachment. So let's kind of roll it back. Oh, okay. So that's interesting because I don't see it on the side here. So is it just like attaching? Let's take a look. Okay, let me do that slow as possible. So that fires. So that is something that is not, okay, so that's not attached. It's a whole contraption that he has. It's a funky looking steampunk contraption too. So maybe this isn't an attachment. Maybe this is just, you get the ignition mode, you get this thing, you slap it on it. Maybe it's in that backpack he's carrying around. So, okay, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this isn't an attachment. This is just its own separate thing, and it's a different delivery system for whatever your special ammo is going to be. So you slap it on there. It's got this pump thing going. I'm going to be honest, I might like the belt-fed aspect a little more, but this is a funky looking thing. Some kind of like steampunk gizmo. Yeah, so you expend that ignition energy and you just rail off with Wyvern Fire. And then energy regenerates over time when you successfully land hits. Again, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe that this is something new to the special ammo, that it can be recharged on successful hit. As I'm taking a look at this right now, just kind of like poking around in between, like I'm cutting around editing this video. It seems like you could originally in World cut down on recharge time with focus, though it was a little bit negligible. This is just like straight up built into the function of the gun, which is okay. So you're tying in faster recharge to just gameplay. You're not tying it to a skill. All right. I'm curious what heavy bowgun players are going to think about that. It definitely sounds more useful. Ooh, so that's something to look at right there. So they're talking about how the energy regenerates right here. But I think actually looking at the ammunition UI right beneath the gun reticle is actually the more interesting thing, because I think this is just going to straight up confirm that what we're looking at is rapid fire. Yep. All right. So if you take a look at the UI when it fires, only one bullet goes off the screen, but it fires 3 shots. So this is rapid. Okay. So rapid shots are on heavy bowgun. I'm doing some research on the fly right here, so I actually know what I'm talking about, because again, I don't play this weapon, but it's looking like... So there might be some stuff here and there where a heavy bowgun could rapid in a couple of places, but it seems to be almost always in like special cases. Again, please feel free to clarify this for me. I have never mained this weapon, but in terms of standard ammo, I know it's never been a thing. Top of that, the auto guard function, you can also guard incoming attacks manually. Okay, so this has always been a thing. It's like sometimes when you just have the gun up, you can block things, but there's also a manual block option. Okay. Hey there, Turbo Idiot in the editing bay. Connor here. I totally forgot that heavy bowgun shields always auto-guarded and were not manual guarded. So that's actually a brand new addition to the weapon here that I totally forgot for the rest of the video, because I've never made this weapon and I'm dumb. So apologies for that. But yeah, no, manual guard is now a thing with the shields with heavy bowgun. That's wicked cool. That's got to be a nice addition for you guys. Would be easier to proc off something like offensive guard or something like that. It's just a nice little quality of life adjustment for the weapon that sounds like a really good and natural addition, and that's pretty awesome. All right, pretty big bump back when you get smacked by the attacks with the shield up. But yeah, no, that's still a thing. That's still an attachment that's up. Interesting that they're not talking about whether or not that is an attachment, so I'm going to assume that it is, and they're just talking about it as a general feature. I doubt they're going to like take away that as a customization option. I'm going to presume that this is still an attachable thing. Okay, so focus mode doesn't really seem to change too much about how this weapon works, minus just the identification of weak points. So it doesn't really seem to have much of any kind of crazy effect here. Okay, so this seems to be a different type of special ammo. It only takes up a chunk, so this definitely doesn't seem to be full-on Wyvern snipe, because it's not one big piercing projectile that then detonates. It looks to be a miniature charged shot. But this is definitely, so this is ignition mode that it's in right now. You can tell from the blue UI. So this is a different type of special ammunition. And this is still the iron heavy bowgun. So it's the same looking contraption, still the iron heavy bowgun, but it's a different type of special ammo being used in the ignition mode. So perhaps I was right then, and that the special ammo being used by your HBG can indeed be customized. Let's run it back and see this attack again. Right, okay, so we're in focus mode, we're in ignition mode, you have the weak points, he fired off that charge shot into the face. Yeah, it looks to be kind of like sticky ammo. You shoot it in there, though it has a little bit more initial impact than sticky ammo does, but it is a delayed explosion. Also seems to take out about a quarter of your ignition mode. A quarter to, I'm going to say a quarter, maybe 20%, but I'm going to say a quarter. So it looks like you get 4 to 5 shots of these charged explosion shots. I'm gonna watch it back one more time. Or is it 3? So is that a third? Okay, so I see 3 in the UI. It didn't look like it took up a third on the bar, but maybe my eye for that is not the best in the world, admittedly. So let's wind it. Yeah, so he procs a special ammo. He sees 3 of them in there. Lines up with focus mode, aims for the head. Okay, so it's 3. Okay, so it does take up a third. All right. I was eyeballing the blue bar and not the actual bullet icons. Decent amount of charge up to that too, but that might be a very long-range projectile. It's hard to tell because you're right up in the face. But looks like it might be a little bit risky to pull that off, because that was a good 3 or 4 seconds of wind-up time for that shot to go off. Yeah, big hit, though. Seems to be a really good stagger off of that. Though, again, this is like a tech demo type of thing. Who really knows? Yeah, no, focus mode doesn't seem to change up too much about the heavy bow guns, minus just the weak point identification, which it's fine. I mean, this thing already aims with a reticle anyway. How much were you going to change with a thing that offers you a reticle? So this is just going to be weak point identification. Okay, so that could perhaps be your knockaway. So you know how we talked about this yesterday, the greatsword has that big like uppercut slam, and then you go charging in, and then you do like the suplex the greatsword into him. That seems to be like a big parry move. I don't know if this was confirmed, but do we have like a big like weak point focus attack, a parry attack, and a guard, like a power guard thing for all the weapons? Let me look at this again. Yeah, so that's either, I don't think that's a weak point focus attack, because it's not a deliberate animation targeting a scarred section. It seems to be something that comes in anticipation of the, oh, you know what? Is this the focus mode attack on the weak point right here? No, but it's using the ignition mode, but it's also using focus. Oh, this is confusing. Does he have a weak point on the head? I'm bouncing around a lot here, but I'm trying to decipher all this. I've never done something like this before. This is fun. All right, do you have a weak point on, or a wound, rather, on the face? That might be it right there, is that white scarring right above his eye. So if that's a wound, then is this a focus attack on the wound? But if it is, do you have to have ignition mode and wounds for heavy bowgun? Or is this just, okay, this is a little, because they're directly calling out attention that this is focus mode. It is kind of like a big wind-up animation. Pulls it in. Yeah, the head definitely looks scarred, but this interacts much differently than the Blade Master focus mode attacks seem to do. A lot of those, you know, you have the worm stake off of Gunlance, and then you have the like your big drag strike with the greatsword. Those are very kind of like lined up and cinematic-y, and this is a little less so. There's a wound right there. That comes in. No, I don't. I think this is just a special ammo type. Also, yeah, no, the white scarring is still on the head. We know now that if you pull off a focus attack, then that'll go away. So no, that's just a normal new special ammo. So what exactly is this new one then? Is just gonna be like your big boom parry? So is that like a parry, or yeah, like a parry, like auto stagger off an attack for heavy bowgun, kind of like greatsword seems to have? That might be the case. Seems to be very similar. It's yet it to have one where you just like stick the weapon in him. Let me wind that back a little bit. That seems to be the charge shot again. And this is definitely your, like, clash stance guard with the heavy bowgun. So that one, you're sticking the gun barrel right in its mouth. It's trying to chomp on you. It's stuck on the shield. And boom, you fire off a shot right down its throat. Okay. So that's definitely your power clash. Yeah, I'm still just not 1000% certain what this one is. Yeah, that might be the same thing as the big greatsword uppercut, mechanically at least. But I'm not 1000% sure, and I'm not sure which one is the focus mode attack. That might be that previous thing, but are they really going to have an attack consume like no, because the white scarring was still there. Okay. So I have questions then, like what exactly I'm looking at, but it does look fun. Very nice visceral animation as well. Like that just feels like nice, and like some of these weapon stuff are very, very well animated, especially with like the nice big heavy weapons. Like these the animations feel nice and hefty and chunky and deliberate and meaty. I like that. Yeah, it's nice and big. Cool. Okay, so let's run this back one more time. That's an interesting right there. So is that a counter shot off of a block, or is that just good follow-up time? No, I'm going to say that's just something you can do. But then okay, so that's an interesting animation then. So it's kind of like a back step slide that he's got. I don't think that's part of the block, though. Let me take a look one more time. All right, so he braces off the hit. There's the hit right there. Then there's like a beat, and then he backslides. Yeah, so it's not... okay, that's interesting. Because he doesn't get knocked back by the hit. It's hit beat slide back. If you watch that back one more time. Yeah, that's not a knockback. That's a deliberate backstep out of the block animation. So that's a little bit of extra maneuvering on your part here. Because that seems to be, so is that out of a block, or is that like a new little like backstep repositioning thing that they're giving Heavy Bowgun? That's interesting. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about, right? Because there's a beat after the impact where he deliberately shuffles backwards. So is that an action off of guard? Is that just like a little backstep? Because that's nothing crazy, but that's kind of like a cool little, just give me this little bit of wiggle room to reposition after a hit or something. Okay. I think that's definitely different, but that's definitely not the block animation though. Yeah, I think that's different. And then he follows it up with a shot. I doubt that's a counter shot. I think that's just, well, then the animation goes from one into the other very quickly. Yeah, so the paw lands, there's the block effect, he backstep shuffles a little bit and automatically just rips off another shot. So that's like some pretty good ability to tank a hit, back up, get some spacing back, and retaliate. I kind of like that. I like weapons that have like kind of like precise pinpoint little bits of maneuverability on them, and not like well, I mean I still do enjoy a weapon that has a full roll, but this is, yeah, it's a little something different. I want to watch that one more time. I checked the website real quick, but it didn't seem to have anything too new. Okay, so final thoughts. Again, it's very much like Greatsword. This isn't too much different from World Heavy Bowgun, though a couple of things definitely seem to be small but poignant changes. And then you have your focus mode abilities and all that, of course. So, well, I say there's nothing small. Dude, you have like rapid fire coming in on normal shots now. That's pretty different. That's pretty crazy. So, yeah, no. So what does that mean for light bowgun? It definitely seems like the rapid fire rate is fairly slower end. Like usually the rapid rate that you might get off of explosive type shots on an LBG. So I bet the LBG is still going to be faster in terms of your elemental, or faster in terms of your rapid output. So probably still going to be the superior for status and elemental output. But it seems like that is more on the table for HBG now. That's interesting. Then focus mode doesn't change too much. You have a lot of nice big new attacks. Your special ammunition is now able to be recharged off of successful hits. So that might be another thing that makes rapid fire very important, is if you land rapid fire hits, you might be able to get your special ammo back even faster. They're changing up the contraption for your special ammo. It looks like there is a chance that your special ammo is going to be a part of customization and not locked in on a weapon-to-weapon basis. The heavy metal armor is looking really good. The gun model itself is quite basic, but this is probably just your standard iron tree. It looks like you have like a little bit of new repositioning with that little back shuffle that I was pointing out on. Looks like you have at least one new type of special ammunition with that charged explosive shot. So yeah, this definitely, it's not like a Rise thing where it's like, oh man, what's that crazy big new attack? But there's a couple of things here for heavy bowgun. I'm like, that's different. What does that mean? So I'm interested, as someone who's probably going to be just, for my job, be playing the ever-loving crap out of Wilds and like everything in it. I'm sure like every weapon is going to catch my attention, but this is catching my attention. I've never been a Bowgun guy, so you can feel free to laugh at me in the comments if I'm getting a whole bunch of garbage wrong about your weapon. But heavy Bowgun fans, tell me what you're thinking down below. I'm interested in what you have to say. And as for the rest of you, what are you thinking about how heavy Bowgun looks in this game? Are you thinking about maybe picking things up? It looks like you might be eating pretty good here. It looks like there's heavy Bowgun is getting a little bit faster with your shots, a little bit better with your maneuvering. You still have your guard up. You might have your special ammo and customization, so like a couple more options there. Yeah, no, it looks like HBG's getting a little bit of a subtle speed boost. It's interesting. And then, of course, with your focus mode attacks, you still have that nice big concussive power. So heavy Bowgun seems to be in a pretty interesting space. I'll be interested how this pans out. So, of course, let me know your thoughts. And just kind of like looking at the timer, yeah, it was the right decision that I decided to do a bunch of little videos, because man, can I talk. Because if I did one big chunky one with this level of in-depthness, oh boy, that'd be a pain in the ass to edit. So I think I made the right call here, because this is probably going to be another like 30-minute video just on heavy Bowgun. Yeah, no, but we can, you guys can expect these looks to be every day, because I think this is just going to be a good model to go down. All right. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. Feel free to do your YouTube and whatnots and who's its. And this has been CR-Volcanic or Connor. I'll see you around. Shout out to all the patrons, and special shout out to Nihilist Chimerax, Datboy Doin de Ding, Sir Newt Newt, Peaberry, Stefan Colneen, Shaggy Grizzly, Psychotic Jester, Pecco Plush, Daniel Delasarte, and Call Sign Shadow. Thank you very much, everyone.